On Thursday, February 1st, the lifeless body of 19-year-old Baluch activist Sepehr Shirani was found in Zahedan, 2 days after being arrested by the regime's intelligence agents. The regime murdered Sepehr for his criticism of regime authorities. The regime hoped to silence other youths in their opposition to the tyrannical rule of the mullahs. But on Friday night, the rebellious youths of Zahedan targeted one of the regime's centers of repression in the memory of Sepehr and other youths murdered by the regime. The building was targeted with explosions that were heard across the neighborhood. This is the latest in a series of targeted attacks by the youths of Iran against the IRGC and other regime's centers of repression, terrorism, and looting of public property. Iran's rebellious youths are defying the regime's efforts to cause fear in the public and control the growing restiveness in society through repression, executions, and violent punishments. On January 28th, brave rebellious youths in Kermanshah targeted the command headquarters of the Revolutionary Guards, IRGC, Nabi Akram Division with explosives. The IRGC is the main entity tasked with suppression at home and terrorism abroad. The IRGC and its paramilitary arm, the Basij, have played an important role in killing protesters during nationwide uprisings in recent years. The attack was in support of the political prisoners of Gezel Hesar prison, who were attacked by the regime's prison guards on the same day. During the attack, the prison guards injured the prisoners and destroyed or confiscated their belongings. One of the injured prisoners was Afshin Baimani, who has been in prison for 24 years for supporting the PMOI. On January 29th, rebellious youth of Isfahan's Gorgab targeted one of the regime's centers of looting in solidarity with the farmers of Isfahan, who have been protesting the government's theft of the waters of Zayan-Derud River, which is essential to their agricultural activities. The farmers have been calling for their proper rights to water in the past years, but have only been responded through suppressive measures by the regime's security forces. On January 27th, the rebellious youth targeted the headquarters of the Khomeini Relief Foundation, a state-run organization that steals the properties of Iran's impoverished people. The attack was in solidarity with the steelworkers of Avaz, who held several consecutive days of strikes and protests as the regime continues to ignore their demands for better work conditions, job security, higher wages, and an end to repressive management policies. These activities are taking place despite the regime's extensive efforts to suppress any form of protest and dissent. The regime has carried out a record number of executions in the final months of 2023 and has started 2024 with another violent wave of executions. On January 28 and 29, the regime carried out 9 executions, including the hanging of 4 young Kurds who had been tortured to make incriminating confessions. In particular, the regime has carried out an alarming number of political executions, hanging youths who took part in nationwide uprisings in recent years, and political prisoners who have been lingering in prisons for several years. The regime is also trying to spread fear and terror by carrying out violent punishments. The regime recently amputated the hand of a man charged with theft, and plans to gouge the eyes of a protester who is charged with blinding a security officer who had attacked him during peaceful protests in 2018. The regime also carried out the flogging sentence of a woman who had allegedly violated the misogynistic hijab rules imposed by the ruling mullahs. But as the actions of the rebellious youth show, no amount of repressive measures will dissuade the people of Iran from their goal to overthrow the regime and establish a democratic republic.